What's up, guys? We are back for another NECA review, taking a look today at the recent reissue of the Predator 2 Ultimate City Hunter Predator. This is, by all accounts, one of the big two Predators in the entire franchise. Of course, the main Predator from the second film. One of my personal favorites for sure. I absolutely love this movie. So we've got this guy here in our Ultimate style packaging. You've got some artwork on the front showing the Predator hoisting a spine and skull over the city. We have got some product shots on the back as well as a bit of a write-up. But being a Ultimate style box, you've got an inner flap here, so you can pop that open and you've got product shots with the City Hunter inside, and then you've got the figure front and center inside the window. So good collector-friendly stuff as usual. But let's do it. Let's pull this guy out and take a look. And here he is out of the package, our Ultimate City Hunter from Predator 2, the titular Predator from that movie. You know, this is the second of the big two, I guess, if you want to talk about him that way. This is one of the more important Predators in the franchise history just because he was the star of the movie. And I'm pretty happy to have this guy just because of the fact that, well, you know, I didn't have him in any capacity from NECA, so it's nice to get the most updated version with this new reissue. So let's jump right in and see what he can do. We've seen Ultimate bodies a lot lately. We've seen this Ultimate body recently, so we're not going to be surprised. But let's run through it. So we've got a head that can go backwards, and he can look up pretty good. He can look down pretty good. You've got a little tilt side to side and then rotation. The plasma caster on his shoulder is the one that has like the little railing, so it can slide back and forth and swivel, so it can look backwards and shoot like that. The arms go out. There are no tubes on him to get in the way like with the Jungle Hunter, so you don't have to worry about that. Rotate in there, bicep swivel. You've got your double jointed elbows. We've got hinges and rotation at the wrist. And a lot of folks pointed out on my recent Jungle Hunter review that the hinges on these hands are in fact a upgrade from previous figures, because NECA relied a lot on ball joints and it just slipped my mind. So we do have hinges here and rotation. You've got an upper diaphragm twist. We've got a waist twist, so he can look down, you know, go forward, go backward a little bit, and then you've got a little bobble side to side as well. Legs go out all the way. They are kind of soft ratcheted there. They kick forward and they kick back. Nothing gets in the way. You can knock this little guy off if you so choose, and then pop it back on. You can rotate at that joint there. You've got your double jointed knees, so they go pretty far back, about all the way you need. And then we've got our Telltale NECA ball pegs with thingy knockoff action, so you can rock those side to side, forward and backward, and then of course rotation. So he is, you know, for all intents and purposes, he's pretty much everything we've seen recently with NECA stuff for Predators, but he does move well, and I have no problems with stuck joints or anything like that on this figure. He's been really easy to move around. Now, as far as the overall look of this particular Predator, most Predator fans are probably well informed about what this guy looks like. He has a pretty unique look, though, all things considered, to me personally, just because of his armor scheme. It's kind of that bronze patinaed look, which really stands out amongst other Predators. Not to mention, the markings on his body are really nicely done. They are pretty striking in terms of color. So you've got the blacks, you've got the cream color, but then you've also got kind of a brown-orange in there, not to mention all of the netting that's marked all over the top of him, and it looks really nice here. I don't have a lot of issues with paint mess or paint slop or anything like that. He does have you know, a bunch of hanging doodads all over him, so he's got these like flaps that sit over the front of his codpiece and his butt back there. We've got this little pouch with some bones on it, and then you've got another little satchel here that hangs down to his side. So he does have a bunch of stuff hanging. It doesn't get in the way. I feel like this one piece in particular wants to ride up a lot, but you can just push it back down. The armor on this guy is really nicely done. You've got your opening, you know, little panel here with the Predator runes. You do have a slot for what I believe is supposed to be the net launcher on this guy, so this piece actually pops off, and there's another one that we'll talk about for accessories as well. This is in the tray. It's not on him in the box. And then we've also got this guy down here, which you saw me knock off a handful of times, which honestly I have no idea what this is for. This is not unique to this guy. Other Predators have stuff like this, and I've never found anything that actually goes in there. So if someone knows, let me know. I'm just clearly not sure what that is. But the rest of the figure looks really, really fantastic. I love the coloring on it, the kind of bronze patinaed look with that kind of green blue that's washed into the armor, makes all of the pitting and all of the line work stand out. So, I mean, everything has it all over there. Pretty much everything that looks like that kind of grayish bronze color really has that wash in there to bring all the sculpt out. And, you know, as usual, there is a tremendous amount of sculpt all over the gauntlets, all over the armor pads. And then of course we've got the extending blades on his right gauntlet here, and you've got a slot for the throwing disc, the smart disc on his side there, because of course that is a key accessory for this figure, especially with how much it's focused on in the movie when he uses it just so much. We've of course got to talk about the head sculpt though, and this one, the masked head sculpt, I think it looks fantastic. I prefer this mask to the Jungle Hunter mask personally. There's just something about the detail in it that really stands out to me. The color on it, for one, is fantastic. That kind of coppery bronze color with that blue patinaed finish on the inside, and then you've got all the pitting all over it. It's not smooth by any means. There's a lot of detail for the light to pick up on, and then you've got those kind of meshed eyes in there. I just really like this helmet. It's not a knock on the Jungle Hunter by any means. It's just one that I really have always liked. I love Predator 2 though, so it's not a stretch for me to really like this. And then of course you've got the Predator dreadlocks hanging down, and then to the side we've got his plasma caster, which is one of the more unique looking ones. It's one of those ones that kind of looks like a scarab almost. It's got like scales and stuff on it, and it's a different mechanism, as I mentioned, from the standard one, just because of what it can do. Now, as far as accessories goes, this guy's an ultimate release, so of course he comes with a bevy of things. There's a lot of different accessories in this box. Of course, you can see I've already swapped out the head sculpt here, so we've got his unmasked head, and dare I say, this is my preferred version for this particular figure, just because this head sculpt looks fantastic. There is a great deal of detail here, a ton of paint applications. There's a lot of paint on this head sculpt to really bring out the crazy crest design that he has. So this is an awesome looking head sculpt, and the quality on the paint job is top notch. I have no issues with it. He just looks absolutely ferocious, which is what I want out of this guy. He does of course come with a few extra hands. So to begin with, he comes with this hand in the package, this open left hand, and he has this closed right hand, but I've already changed him out a bit. So we've got this more gripping style hand on his right hand, but it's actually meant for something else, which we'll talk about. And then we've got a kind of chopping hand here for his left, and then we've got another hand which is a gripping hand for his left, and that is of course meant to hold a few accessories. So as far as the other stuff he comes with, we've got his smart disc, which is pretty influential for this particular figure. It was his signature weapon, I think, is what most folks would consider. So we've got the smart disc, and it can fit in the satchel here on his side, and this is also used in combination with this hand because the fingers are kind of keyed to allow him to hold that a little better that way. We have got a closed combi stick here, and this can go on the back. There's a little clip there, so you can put it on his back if you want. And then of course we have got a open one as well. So we've got, you know, the actual combi stick itself. We've seen this a number of times from NECA, so it's nothing new here, but this has got a ton of detail, a lot of paint washes all over. It looks fantastic. You've got the little net launcher, which is, I'm pretty sure that's what this is. This little piece right here that actually sits inside of his gauntlet, so you can pop that in there. And then there's a second piece as well to kind of demo it as it's being used, so to speak. So you've got this one here, and it kind of sits raised up, and it's got a little nub on the end to show that it's kind of about to fire. So you've got that. And then we've got this guy down here, which I have no idea what it is, like I mentioned earlier. I'm not sure what it is. It goes in that leg, and I'm not really sure anything's supposed to fit in there either. And then we've got this fantastic accessory. We have got a bloody skull and spine. So we saw this with the Jungle Hunter as well in that recent Ultimate reissue, but you've got another one here, and I'm always up for more effect parts like this because it's quintessential Predator stuff. And then last, we have got another effect piece, just like we had with the Jungle Hunter. We have got a blast effect for his plasma caster, and you can't really change them out. They are keyed a specific way because they aren't the same. So you've got this one, the orange one, that'll work with the City Hunter, and the blue one that came with the Jungle Hunter, but unfortunately you can't really swap them out. The ends of the blasters are just too different. So overall, this is a great entry in the Predator line, especially for folks like me who didn't have this Predator already, because it's a great way to jump in and get what is essentially the best version possible right now. Otherwise, it's still a stellar action figure, tons of paint, tons of sculpt, a great array of accessories, and I mean, come on, it's one of the iconic Predators in the franchise. It's hard to not want this guy if you're even remotely interested in Predator. This guy, Jungle Hunter, they are kind of the two big ones, and I'm really, really happy to finally have both of them in their ultimate forms. So I just think these are fantastic action figures. They have a great deal of posability, just a lot of good stuff going for them. So that's going to do it for this look at the NECA Toys Ultimate City Hunter Predator. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.